opportunities and accounts. But the one thing that you should understand is with an ERP system, a financial system, I can take and surface this data. Some of our partners that do custom ERP solutions for their customers use MindTouch Decky as this collaborative surface across 10 or 12 disparate systems and databases. So they have a snapshot on what's going on from the time of manufacturer, service along the way, to the time of shipping. Now, all of this can be done with somebody who's just reasonably technical but not a real programmer. It doesn't require a real programmer to do this stuff. So let me jump into another interesting one. This is an actual customer of MindTouch that I'm showing you here. This is their internal intranet you can think of. Now, what they have is they're using Yardi Enterprise, which is a financial services software package intended primarily for property managers and real estate. It's SQL Server backed. They have a SQL Server database with all of their properties and information about their properties that they're under management. Now what you can see here is we're calculating total properties and total square footage. So what this is enabling them to do is, and then of course let me continue with the rest of the systems that they're integrated here. They also have a legacy intranet tool, they have a Microsoft Access database, and then they have a file server that's a Microsoft small business server that has just a significant amount of files that they serve up off of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump directly to a page of a property that has information that they've allowed me to take a look at for the purposes of this demo. We'll have a full case study on this particular customer because it's so interesting. But what we're hearing from them is they used to have silos, application silos, data silos, and then human silos. It was the case that each department within the company used to interact and create their own reports. Everybody had different naming conventions. Nobody trusted each other's department's data. So every week they'd generate a report on these properties, and then every month they'd have a global report that was put together. Or MindTouch is being told by Red Mountain Retail Group that they've saved 25% of their labor within each of their departments simply based on the fact that they aren't doing weekly reports for each department. This is huge savings for them. So it's also forced standardization, where at least within MindTouch Decky they can create relationships so that there's mappings between different entities of different names, and then they can standardize those names so that now what they're able to do is to relate entities and then link to them. And then the next thing that they're doing is they're providing dashboards on particular properties. This is one example where this is the vitals of the particular property pulled in from a SQL Server database. On the right-hand side, you're seeing their file server, and these are the files that exist within the file server. Now, if a particular file doesn't exist, you'll see this dashed line. Now, what that tells them is that somebody's not doing their job or somebody needs to do their job to get that completed. Going on, what you can see here is Microsoft Windows Live Earth. This is actually quite a superior mapping application to Google Maps. Most people don't realize it does really powerful things. Now in this case, the way that they're using it, they have a single property that is broken up into 3 physical locations that are nearby each other. So there's the first one. Here are the tenants of this particular property. And again, this is querying 4 or 5 different systems to compile this page as a dynamic report, a dashboard on this, if you will. Now scrolling down, you can see the second property. I'll mouse over, you can see the address. And again, here are the tenants at this particular property. Moving on, you can see the third property and the particular tenants there. And then, of course, you can tag pages and jump into other pages based on those tags. Now, let me quickly summarize for you. First of all, go to mindtouch.com. You can download the Community Edition of the software. The Enterprise Edition is the one that goes through full test coverage. Community Edition is completely free. The Enterprise Edition, while it's the preferred, or it is the recommended production usage version, it also includes enterprise adapters like I just showed you for Sugar CRM, Salesforce, MySQL, SQL Server, Microsoft Access. Now let me summarize for you briefly. Let's take Red Mountain Retail Group, for example. They have dashboards that provide metrics on all of their properties. One of the examples that they gave me where MindTouch Decky really saved them was they were able to establish a particular tenant that accounted for a reasonably large percentage of their total property management. I think it was about 5 or 10%, which when you're talking about 5 million square feet, that's a lot, who they discovered through MindTouch Decky calling external services that this particular tenant was having some financial issues. They were able to adapt very quickly to this market trend and managed to save themselves a significant amount of money by minimizing the vacancy that they had. So what they were really doing in this example and in other examples that they've communicated to us is really optimize their usage of the square footage and management. The other thing that it enables them to do is to pivot the data. In fact, I think I will jump back right now to show you this. Pivot the data based on whatever their needs are. Turns out each department needs to look at the data in a different way. So for example, leasing views by region, development views by property, management views by person. So the IT person at Red Mountain Retail Group, not a programmer, was able to put together all of these custom reports based on what the needs are of the people within each department. Moreover, and perhaps most importantly, is the fact that all of those individual departments that were previously generating a weekly report now have all of those reports automatically generated for them, as is the monthly report. So what they're telling us that they were able to do with MindTouch is, instead of just a few people getting monthly and weekly reports and only a few people participating in them, now with MindTouch Decky across all of their internal systems, the legacy intranet, several SQL Server databases, a Windows file server, and a bunch of Microsoft Windows, Microsoft Office files, they're now able to generate reports from these so that they're now created a corporate-wide mindshare that all relevant parties can access and participate in. Powerful stuff. They've had big savings across all of their business. They're really happy with it, and so are thousands of our other users. In fact, hundreds of thousands of our other users and hundreds of our paying customers. So take a look at MindTouch Decky. You can download for free the Community Edition. When you're ready, upgrade to the Enterprise Edition. Thank you.